So last December, we did our first house sit, and it wasn't through the app, but it was a way for us to dip our toes and just see how we liked it. So we had a family that we were going to church with. They were going back to Canada for the holiday season, and they wanted somebody to come in and watch their dogs and their cat in their home. And they had a ton of indoor plants that they needed somebody to care for. And so we house sat for them for the month. A few years ago, though, I had reached out to a family friend who I saw was traveling all over the country. She was doing these really cool hikes. And so I reached out to her to see, hey, like, how are you doing this? And she mentioned Trusted House Sitter. And at the time, we weren't really traveling around like we are now. And so I pinned it for the future because I was thinking, hey, like if we ever do, if we ever do long road trips or on the road for a long time, it would be a really great way to offset housing costs. Well, fast forward to this last winter, we met a family at church who had been traveling the world with their daughters from Australia. And one of the things that they mentioned at the end of our play date was Trusted House Sitters, because it was a way that they were able to offset their housing costs by taking care of people's homes, their pets, and plants. And so that came up again, and I was like, okay, this sounds kind of interesting. So I quickly looked into it, quickly paid a subscription, got verified, which means we got background checked and, they were able to vet us. And so created our profile and started looking for house sits in the area of where we were. And we were not able to find anything that was going to fit with our schedule. And so the timing didn't really line up, but I knew that we were bound to find something that was going to fit with our schedule. And it was just going to work for our family because you pay for the year. And so it was like, okay, let me just hold on. Well, fast forward to a few months after I had liked one, or I had favorited one, and I was looking to see if there were other ones, and I didn't really find anything that fit because we wanted to be in this specific city for a period of time. And so this house sit was for a month. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm not sure if the dates will line up. But as it got closer, I went ahead and started that process, and I hit application and it wouldn't let me apply, and it said it wouldn't because the people had actually requested us, which was so cool, because one of the things that I had read from previous house sitters is that unless you have reviews, it is challenging to find a house sit because people don't know if you're a trustworthy person, which makes sense. And so it was just really neat that they reached out to us. They sent us a message and said, hey, we're going to be gone for a month. We're a family of 5, and we would love for you guys to come and watch our home while we're gone visiting family. And so very quickly, we hopped on Zoom. We felt like we really connected. We had some like-mindedness there. And so at the end of our Zoom call, they were like, if you are good with it, and we would love to go ahead and move forward and approve you guys so that you can house sit. And so that was our first house sit. And so we house sat for a month at that home. And it was really great because it was a family-friendly home, which you can filter on the app. And there was a crib for Selah, and the kids had their own room. It was a bunk room. And then we were able to have our own space. And as a family, we were able to just spread out. Their kitchen was well stocked. And so I was able to make our own meals, which I often do whenever we're traveling. And so that's been one of the perks of house sitting, is that we can really be in neighborhoods. We can connect with new people through the people we house sit for. And we have access to a well-stocked kitchen so that I can make meals. Because when you're traveling sometimes, if you're going to a hotel, chances are there's not a kitchen there. And if you're staying at an Airbnb, a lot of times Airbnbs are not fully stocked. You might get, a blender, or you might get a toaster, but you don't have access to all the things you might want and maybe need to make good meals. And so the house that we're at right now, they have everything. Typically, I like to travel with our blender, but this time around I was like, no, let's go more minimal. And so I didn't even pack our blender. And so they had a blender, a little oven that we can use. They have a big, kitchen. They have a double oven that we can use. They have a steamer. They have all kinds of things. They have an Instapot. And so it just makes it to where, it really does end up paying like paying off doing house sitting, because as a family, I feel like we like to do slow travel anyway, and we don't like to rush through the places that we're visiting. And so it forces us to slow down. We have a pet that we're taking care of. And so very quickly the kids warm up to the animals, and we have kind of like a routine that builds around the animal we're caring for. But also there's just flexibility. Like we still get to go out and explore. Most people who we've house sat for have been like, yeah, we mean you don't have to be stuck at the home. You know, we would love for you to, like, they recommend things that we can do around the town that we're in. And so it's just been a really neat experience for our family. And honestly, I'm not sure how long we're gonna do it for, but I can see us doing it for a while. And the more I look into like different places that we could go, it's been really neat to see how other families who are also doing house sitting through Trusted House Sitters have like done this and are homeschooling on the go. And I'm hoping to connect with some of those people as well. So yeah, if you have any questions about house sitting, how we're doing it as a family, or just, you know, any comments about what it would be like. Even I would love it if you shared what would be like your bucket list place that you would house sit for. There's a few that I've been like favoriting that I'm like, okay, maybe one day, we'll see. I would love to do house sitting internationally. We're not there yet, but in the future, it would be really cool. So if you have like a bucket list place, feel free to drop them in the comments below.